What up, world? It's your man G Williams coming at you. And already know it ain't right because I ain't rap too tight. But I gotta say something. And on this topic right here, I got to say something.
Hey, what up, world? It's your boy G Lewis, and I just want to let you know I say what I say because I am my father's son.
We got something swirling in the news, swirling around in society that I think needs to be addressed. So we're gonna label this topic loosely lazy parenting.
Boom.
Man, lazy parenting. When I say lazy parenting, what comes to your mind, especially in the role of parents?
Well, we do got, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say punk ass on the net, but we do
This
got
the
some
book of
punk
G.
ass parents
This the book of G.
out
Go in.
there. Parents that are hands off. They're not involved. They choose not to interact from the role of parents in regards to their kids. A lot of them weren't even trained or taught how to be parents because their parents were punk ass parents.
Right.
So when you put two and two together, you end up with punk ass parents. So that's what I think when I think lazy ass parents.
Right. So, okay, in order to overcome that role of lazy parenting, what would you suggest?
Well, see, and this is where I think that it's not just parents being lazy. We got a couple of issues. So we got the punk ass parent piece, but then we also have the role that government plays in eliminating the ability for parents to be parents in a household.
Good point.
So we got child protective services, right? So you got kids now that are threatening parents to say, "You better not tell me to do my homework because I'll call child protective services." I was watching a episode of Scared Straight where we had an 11-year-old boy that called child protective services on his stepmom because she made him do his reading every day to make sure he was ready for school. And child protective services and the government doesn't see their involvement in eliminating the ability to be a parent in a household. Because reality is, you got to be a little bit afraid of your parents.
Right.
There's got to be a little bit of fear there. Like I was scared of my mom, I was scared of my pop because they could hurt me. I knew that, but I knew they were never going to hurt me to the point to where I had to worry about, going to the hospital or something like that. So I think there's a big difference between child abuse, and parenting, and the government don't know the difference. And because they don't know the difference, they have parents who are afraid of child protective services. And then you got kids in school, and the teachers are they afraid of the kids, and the school board they acquiesce to the kids, and you got the city council that the school board is scared of the city council, and all of this stuff is going round and round. And meanwhile, the kids ain't scared of nothing.
Right.
So you got all these kids that are able to act out because parents have had their ability to be parents stripped from them from the government. That's just my piece. That's the second piece. But I mean, what about you? What do you think? You think it's just the parents, or do you think the kids got some involvement too? What do you think?
Absolutely. I think the kids have some involvement in it. Kids, it's a couple kids that watch your book of G.
Boom.
So let me talk to you, and not at you.
Boom.
All right. You have a role to play in this too. Okay. I know you at a stage of life where, you're too young to be a child, but you're not old enough to be an adult. And it's a hard place to be. But you got to take the lessons in which those have gone before you are trying to tell you. Again, you don't have parents out there who are just telling you to do X, Y, and Z because they believe in punishing you. It's all a plan and a purpose for it. And so again, I'm not trying to talk to you or at you, I'm trying to talk to you and say that your role, is to observe and learn and follow the example, okay? Because your parents have your best interest at heart. When they tell you no, it's for a reason. When they tell you yes, it's for a reason. And there is a whole lot more life that you got to live that we want to prepare you for instead of letting you funnel around for yourself, make mistakes that we've already made, and you end up being a whole lot further back than where you should be. So that's my role, to my spiel to the kids, man. Hey, respect your parents. You're going to live long on the earth. And I guarantee you'll be a lot further than if you had to do it all by yourself.
And when they pull out a belt, it's for a reason.
That's right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right. That's right. Because I wish mine would. I ain't crossed that stage yet, but we getting there. So Josh and Micah, I love you. And just know it's all for a purpose. So, okay, we talked about parents, we talked about kids, but you brought up a very good point, which is adults being scared of the law enforcement piece that ultimately hampers their authority and their parenting. That's a major piece that we got to discuss. You know, the laws of corporal punishment, where they have legislated parents out of disciplining their kids. They have taken the role of the parents out and said, hey, no, it's illegal for you to touch them. It's illegal for you to scream them or berate at them, but we can lock them up.
Boom. That's what it is.
You know, and so there has to be something that we actively as parents have to do in order to step in and say, hey, no, you can't legislate my household. You can't tell me how I can raise my kid other than, like you said, putting them in the hospital. You know, I have to be able to put a discipline, whether it be hands-on corporal punishment sometimes, and or it be a punishment that may seem a little extraneous, but it's all in to teach a lesson. The one thing that people do in our society, especially in these law offices, is try to absolute authority on people. Everything don't work for everybody the same, okay? And so some kids you might have to knock the hell out. While other ones, you might have to, hey, take a little food away from them to make sure that they hear you. You know what I'm saying? But there is too much laws and not enough accountability in order for children to have to be adhering to the laws their parents are laying out. So again, I don't want to ramble on and on that, but corporal punishment is a crime. And until we can define what really that is, we got some real issues when it comes to how kids are acting. Unfortunately, we just had the major news-wide case at Spring Valley High School in South Carolina, where a child was, you know, assaulted. Assaulted is the word, yeah. Okay? And let me put this little disclaimer out there, and I know I've been talking for a minute, but had it been my child that was done the way it was done, I'd be serving sentence right now for ripping his head off his shoulders. No way can you touch a child like that. And I'm going on record for saying that. I don't care. You can come back at me. I hurt you. You do my child like that. But I digress into say that all the hoopla around it came from many people who tried to chime in and say, well, it's the parents' fault that she acted like that. Let me stop talking. Let me get you on what would you have to say about this situation? Because we talked about parents and kids. What is your thought on it?
Well, I mean, if you take this situation specifically, there's a lot of problems there. First of all, teachers got to be social workers now. Mm-hmm. They have to have social worker skills because this teacher needed to know what the issues were in dealing with this student long before. Like there were several, I mean, it's easy to kind of Monday morning quarterback it, mm-hmm. but there were several steps that could have been taken before the resource officer was called. Mm-hmm. Then you look at the resource officer not really understanding what their job is. Mm-hmm. Your job is to protect the kids. That's your job. Right. Your job is to protect the kids. So, you got a lot of people out there to say, oh, well, the person was doing their job. No, mm-hmm. Their job is to protect the kids. So whenever that has been crossed, you're not doing your job. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you have a lot of adults out there that are not only hands off with their kids, but they're hands off with the system that dictates to them how they can raise their kids. Right. This is why I'm really big on being socially and politically involved. Mm-hmm. Parents need to show up to school board meetings. Mm-hmm. They need to go to parent-teachers nights. Mm-hmm. They need to do all of the things to say, we want our homes back. Mm-hmm. If they don't do that, then it's going to be easy to take away from them like it has been so far.
Right. So with that said, hey, it's a hell of a topic. We got so much more to say, but we want to hear what you got to say. So in the meantime, if you have any questions, any concerns, make sure you log on to the Book of G. Hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Periscope, and several other social media outlets that we have, and everything is at the Book of G. We want to hear from you.
And just remember, just because we don't agree doesn't mean that we shouldn't have the conversation. It's the disagreements that causes the solutions. So bring your statements to the table. It doesn't matter if you agree with us or not. That's what this whole thing is about, starting a dialogue that we needed to have a long time ago.
Until then, I'm G. Williams.
I'm G. Lewis.
Book of G.
I'm out.